Welcome to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group right here in Tampa Bay for 23 years. Joined by his incredible co-host, Senia Akishina, realtor with Mahara and Associates, Tampa's top real estate company. Together, they have helped finance and close nearly $1 billion of real estate every year. If you're looking for local mortgage or real estate advice, the Business Happy Hour team has been right here on News Radio WFLA for over a decade. Listen right here or find us on the Business Happy Hour YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Frank the Bank Cotto. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious mortgage, real estate, and business talk with two of Tampa's top experts. Here's Frank the Bank and Senia.
All right, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. I am your host, Frank the Bank Cotto. It is Turkey Week. That's right. If you're listening to us on Saturday or Sunday on 970 or any of the other channels we're on the radio, you've already eaten your turkey. You're sitting there fat and stuffed. You've already watched the football games. You already know who won or lost. But we don't know because it's Monday before Thanksgiving right now. We are live on the Instagram and the Facebook machine. We're going to share this out right now. We've got a great show for you. Senia and I are bringing, we got some turkey questions today. We've got a great agent partner from Mahara and Associates named Mike Dickey joining the show. Good morning, Mike. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for having me.
Look, you're doing great already. And you said you've never been on radio before, and you're already talking like a radio co-host. I love it. So we're going to have a great show. Mike is an Air Force veteran. We're going to learn a little bit about what it takes to be in the Air Force and how the heck do you go into real estate from many other things like investments and Air Force and other fun stuff. So we're going to find that out from Mike, and Mike's going to chime in on our statistics that Senia brings every single week. Sen, I keep getting in trouble every time I go out in the community and I talk about the stats. People look at me and they call me a liar. Like, I'm listening to the radio. I do actually listen to the radio when I'm not on the radio. So I leave 970 on all the time. And I was listening to an evening show the other day. And I don't remember what it was, but it was some sort of business show. And they had a commercial. And then they had this realtor on there. I love when they have the national realtor, right? And they're like, oh, national stats. You know, there's been 10 cities in Florida where prices have gone up this year. But I'm 10 cities across the nation that prices have gone up, but none of them are in Florida. And I'm like, they are so full of it. And Senia does the stats. So, Mike, Senia does the stats every week. We do month over month from last year to this year, right? And every time she surprises me because we talk about, are things up? Are they down? And overall, the truth is things are up. They're not down. But for some reason, you have all these negative Nancys out there, and they feed on this clickbait and this negative news, and they want to scare people. You know, even when they give good news, like 10 markets went up. Why would you say that? Do you really think the market only went up in 10 places in the entire country? I actually turned the channel. I didn't even listen to what the...
Oh, good.
I didn't want to hear what they said because I'm like, they said 0 were in Florida. So I'm like, you're full of it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, going to be a good show. We're going to talk a little, like I said, about turkey. Mike Dickey is our guest today. I want to say a good morning to all the hunters and the fishermen. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited. Now, I know on the radio, if you're listening, it's Saturday and Sunday. The cold front's already come through, supposedly. We're going to get I'm predicting the future. Did you guys hear this? We're supposed to have a cold front on Wednesday, Thursday. So it really could be a really nice and cool Thanksgiving. Like, I looked at the temperature in North Florida where I'm going to be headed tomorrow to the hunting farm, and it's supposed to be 35 on Thursday morning, 45 on Wednesday night, 35 and a high of like 60. Beautiful day, by the way. It could be. I'm predicting.
Well, I hope so, because I looked this up yesterday because after Thanksgiving, I made plans to take my little one on a little play date to Snowcat Ridge, and I've never been.
I've been there.
You have?
Yes, it is awesome.
That's what I heard.
When are you going?
Well, Friday. And that's when I saw the temperature. I'm like, yes, at least, it'll be a bit cooler out. So fingers crossed for cooler weather. Because
I've been when it's hot and been when it's cold. Mike, do you know what we're talking about? Snowcat Ridge? Have you been?
Snowcat Ridge is fantastic.
It is.
And exactly what Frank just said.
So everybody's been except for me.
No, but okay, so it's like the only place, and it's pretty legit snow. They actually use snow blowers and machines and stuff. But I went one year and it was cold. And like we were bundled up and it was awesome. We did it at night. Are you doing night or during the day?
Like later afternoon.
Oh, that'll be good.
After nap time.
After nap time. Because they have lights and stuff. Like everything lights up. Do you remember that, Mike? It was like all lit up and everything. And then one year we went and it was like 80 degrees. I don't know how it was open. Dude, it was like slush. It was like going down like a wet freaking slush thing. So let's hope for that chilliness for you. But Snowcat Ridge. That's good. How old's the little one?
He's going to be 4 soon.
Oh, it's going to be perfect.
So I think he's going to love it. And I figure, hey, we'll check it out now since we've never been. And then we could, go back in January when they say it's supposed to be,
really
the ultimate time when the snow is really.
Yeah. This is going to be so much fun for you. So what about this? What do you guys have planned for Thanksgiving? Let's go right into that. Mike, what do you have planned for Thanksgiving?
So just my wife and kids and brother here locally.
Nice.
We're just planning to, instead of having dinner at home, we're actually going to go out. So enjoy that a little bit.
I'm going to get in so much trouble. So why are you going out? Have you never done that before? Is this a first, or do you guys do that? Is that a tradition, or?
So this time last year, we were actually in St. John.
Okay. In the BVI?
In the BVI, and it was absolutely amazing. And so we ate out then and really enjoyed it. To deal with cleaning up and again, small family, right?
Yeah.
So we just kind of enjoy going out a little bit, have whatever we like, and then enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, without the cleanup.
Without the cleanup.
That's perfect.
And then over the weekend, we're going to staying on the beach on Saturday, and it'll be great.
You've got a great weekend. Okay,
I do.
Before everybody knows why I'm going to be in trouble, let's ask Cinia. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Oh, well,
How do you
me
celebrate?
too. We are going out, and actually, it's Auntie Judy Mahara.
Okay.
She is the sweetest. That's Ray's auntie.
Okay.
They've had this tradition for the longest time where we go out to dinner.
Oh.
So they host this dinner. They invite, whoever doesn't have anywhere else to go, which we could host at home. But I'm like, you know what? Why do that when we could just go eat, have a great time, come home, and no cleanup? But yes, very excited because the food's delicious. The company's amazing. And they're just such a generous, wonderful family. So any chance we have to spend with them is.
You spend a lot of holidays with Ray.
We do.
You guys do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm in big trouble. So you guys are going out to dinner to a restaurant? Oh, Lord. So my wife, every year for the last few years, she's like, can we just go out to dinner for Thanksgiving? And ever since I've been the tiniest little boy, I wouldn't say we have a huge family, but, usually 10, depending on who comes, 10 to 15 people maybe, right? And we've always had the same tradition. You cook the turkey. We have the same, kind of like everybody else. You got the same sides, the same vegetables, same everything. We eat, we drink some sweet tea, maybe a little wine, watch some football, and that's it, right? But the complaint is always from my mom or my wife or the aunt or whatever, like, oh, we got to do it again. Oh, we got to cook. Oh, we got to clean everything up. Oh, we got to do this. Can we go out to dinner? I'm like, no. It's a tradition. You guys raised me in this. And so I took over the job probably, I don't know how long ago, maybe 10 years ago, of cooking the turkey, right? So I do now, I'm going to ask you guys a question in a minute, but we do the fried turkey or the smoked turkey or the baked turkey or whatever, and then they'll bring the sides. All the grandparents and aunts and stuff will bring the sides, but I always get in trouble because every year they ask. And the last 4 or 5 years, we've gone up to the farm up in North Florida, which I think everybody loves. But then the few days before, my wife's like, do we have to go? Why do we have to do this? Can't we just go out? And I'm like, no. So am I the bad guy? I'm outnumbered here, 2 to 3, 2 out of 3.
You are not the bad guy, except for the wife.
Yes.
So poor Nicole, because usually you still, there's so much work just to prepare. And even if she's not cooking the turkey, there's a lot that goes into it.
There is.
And then
It's
after
the
everybody
hosting.
eats so fast, then it's just the cleanup. So I feel like when you're hosting, you don't get to enjoy it as much.
Right.
Yeah. Dang it, Mike. Are you feeling the same way?
Again, tradition is great, and I've done it as well, but I like to change it up personally, right?
Oh, man.
And
Now, once you guys started going out, though, have you actually gone back to the tradition, or is it gone?
So for myself personally, our family, we go back and forth. It's we're perfectly fine with doing whatever we feel for that coming years. Nothing's set.
Okay, all right, and you've
Well,
go out
I mean,
every
I
time.
think the last couple of years probably we did go to the Mahara because after we went to a couple, then we're like, all right, let's do it at home because I had a lot of family. I'm like, we're not bringing everybody over to the Mahara celebration, and we went back.
You went back
to the dinner that's just served and ready to go, and nobody has to do the work.
Now, where do y'all go?
Maggiano's.
Oh, okay.
And you wouldn't think that they do, at Thanksgiving, but they do.
I've actually heard of it.
Yeah.
Yes, they do like a full Thanksgiving feast.
They do.
Yeah.
And they do a really nice job. And they always
really
already
big
have it
rooms.
decorated for Christmas. So, we'll start taking our Christmas pictures by a Christmas tree. And it's a good time.
That's great.
All right. Well, since we're talking turkey, we got a couple minutes left here, and then we'll do some stats in the next segment. Here's the question. I'm going to poll you guys because I heard a poll this morning on the radio. I heard 2 polls, actually. So I'm the first one. I want to know what kind of turkey. Now, this doesn't mean you have to cook it. I want to know, what do you prefer to eat, okay? Is it the traditional baked turkey? Is it a smoked turkey? Or is it a fried turkey? Let's start with the ladies. Senia.
I'm going to say traditional baked.
Traditional baked.
But listen, as long as it's juicy, because I've had some really good fried turkey.
Uh-huh.
I tried it once and didn't quite work out for me.
To fry it?
Yeah, but I've never done it before, but I've
First
had...
fried turkey's hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd say traditional.
Okay, traditional. Mike?
Tried and true.
Well, Ksenia said the same for me. As long as it is juicy,
Yeah.
that is the key. And I also tried frying a turkey, and it was an absolute disaster. Disaster. But no, as long as it's juicy, I could care less how.
Okay, that's really interesting. So in the poll that I heard this morning, it was a big fight between smoked and fried. Baked was like tossed out.
Oh,
it was
really?
like 20% of the people went with baked. But it's funny, both you said everybody talked about the juiciness, and the consensus was, I don't know if this is good or bad for you, but Butterball. When you buy, there you go, I heard the turkey. When you buy a turkey, you got to buy Butterball. Why? Because they're brined. They're pre-brined, and that's what makes them juicy on the inside. So that's a little tip.
You know what? When I've made my own, though, that is the key. I do normally brine it, for a good, 24 hours. You start it the night before, but I mean, even that's work.
It's a lot of work. That's like an hour, 2 hours.
But smoked, I mean, people do it, I guess everybody's into their green egg.
Eggs.
Okay, because I don't have one of those. So maybe if I had one.
Green egg. So I have a green egg, and we've gone back and forth on that. Recently, I'll do a smoked and a fried. Just because you're out there working on them either way. And it's really funny. The family is split. It's about 50-50, smoked and fried. I think the hunters like the smoked. I think the traditionalists like the fried. We're going to take a break on the Business Happy Hour. When we get back, we'll have one more little comment about fried turkey and not burning down your house. And then we're going to learn about the statistics and get in with Mike Dickey. Stay tuned. 30 seconds it is. That was great, man. That was your first radio segment.
I love it. I love the way you just...
Right?
That's great.
Yeah.
Smooth, right?
Conversational, the nerves are gone, nothing to worry about. Yeah, it's just fun.
When you do smoke it, it's not hard to keep it moist.
When you smoke it, I mean, you can screw that up pretty easily too. Like we'll talk about it when we get into the next thing, but you don't have to. No. As a matter of fact, I did it one time and it might have made it too juicy. I don't know. It was unnecessary. Like I brined. I had 2. One was brined, one was not, and I didn't even realize it. And I brined both, and I think you could tell a difference. But the Butterball by themselves just come almost perfect.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Publix was always just...
Nope. Don't get the Publix ones. All right, we're ready, James.
All the best mortgage or real estate advice from Tampa Bay's top experts. It's the Business Happy Hour with Frank the Bank Cotto and Ksenia Kishina.
Hey, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. I want to say what up to all those Jesuit boys. You guys are the only ones in school today. What's that like? You're in school Monday and Tuesday this week. Listen, I love my alma mater, but for the love of God, and we do love God, could you please let the boys have off Monday and Tuesday before Thanksgiving so we could travel? Daddy has some hunting to do. We've got some family bonding time to do, and you're at school right now. It's okay. We like the education. But please, let them have off school for Pete's sake. Back to turkeys real quick before we get into business and stuff. We're going to keep talking turkeys. So you guys both went baked. The poll this morning, the fried edged out the smoked. Right. But I think it's because, like you said, you got to have a green egg to smoke it, unless you have like a Traeger or some other like smoker. So it's kind of like coming. And Mike, you said you've smoked one before?
Fried it.
Oh, you fried it before. And let me guess, you guys both turned it into crispy turkey.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So there's a couple quick things about that. I've fried probably 50 turkeys. Everybody burns their first one. Like it's almost impossible not to. But the trick is you just can't have the oil too hot. Right, and then you can't let it get too dark on the outside. It's pretty tough to do it. And the other trick is, and I don't know, I'm not a big like chef guy, but maybe there's something to this. Oil works better after it's been used. So like a lot of people use fresh oil and it doesn't work the same for some reason. Like the oil after you reuse your oil. I think restaurants obviously do that. So I don't know. I'm sure some restaurateur is going to yell at me for saying this, but that's what seems to happen. And then the smoked, and the green egg. And the problem with the smoked is if it's too hot, just like the frying, you end up charring and you make the outside, like what happens is that skin peels back, right? And then the turkey gets burned and everything. But I like the smoked turkey. I think frying is probably the easiest thing.
But for your oil, then, so what? You've just been reusing yours for the last few years, or what?
Well, for a few years, I'll pour it back in the 5-gallon thing, right? And there's little strainers and pumps and the filters, so it takes the particles out of it and stuff. So it's pretty easy. But then I had a little incident where some little micey got into, opened up my little oil thing in the pantry at the farm, and so I had to get new oil this year. So we're gonna see how that goes. But I love the fried. Once you perfect the fried, I think it's easy. Oh, by the way, somebody asked me, how do you not burn down your house? Here's what you do. You just don't overfill the pot with oil.
Well, and do you do it inside? I mean,
hell no.
Right. You take it a little further away in the yard somewhere. And
yes. The people who burn down their houses, they're like, I was in the garage. I was like, why would you ever do that? But yeah, if you throw something that has any ice in it or freeze to it or water, then you know what happens.
Oh, yes.
Right? Boom.
I've learned that the hard way too. Not for a turkey, but for
you also are supposed to have the gas off when you put it in. That's another good way to not blow yourself up. Is you just shut the gas off, right? And you put it in, and if some oil comes out, at least it doesn't become a flaming fireball. Right.
You're making it sound like there's some dangers to this, so I just need to get a smoker than to try the
I have
smoked
yet
turkey.
to start a turkey fire, so I'm knocking on wood. Maybe this year is not the year to start a turkey fire. What was the other question? I had one other question for you guys. Here it is. Here's the other poll question, fun turkey question, and it may be after Thanksgiving, but still fun. And maybe you could answer this question on what happened on your Thanksgiving. Should you talk politics at Thanksgiving or not? Let's go to Mike. Politics or no politics at Thanksgiving?
Only if it's between you and somebody that you're on the same page with. Otherwise, it does not make sense to bring it up.
That might not be as fun, but he's right.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
That's good advice. No, I totally agree, and I think we just try to avoid political talk altogether.
All right, so the poll this morning said, it actually said a lot of people enjoy the conversation. It said 65% find it entertaining to talk about it, but I think that goes against Mike's advice. I think they find it entertaining because there is disagreement.
I'm sure if you're not the one involved in the conversation and you're watching the other two go at it.
Yeah.
In my family, I don't know about yours, it's like 95% on one side, right? And then there's one, maybe a lot of times one individual, which sucks for that one, right? So a lot of times we have to chill on that.
So to your point, if most everybody's on your side, you agree, fantastic conversation.
Yeah.
Who cares about the one or two?
Yeah.
But
hopefully he's listening right now because he gets a little red-faced every once in a while during it. It's like, it's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, well, anyway, I'm like, don't forget who gave us the turkey. Anyway, yeah. So there's our 2 turkey questions for the day. That was a lot of fun. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving coming up if you're on Instagram or if you're listening to the radio. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Let's talk statistics. We've got about half our segment left. Every week, Cynthia does our stats. Cynthia, what are you bringing for us this week?
I'm bringing October numbers.
Oh, yes.
Yay.
All right.
So we just had this come up, and finally, luckily you mentioned the national numbers because I did pull those.
Oh, good.
I figured, why not? And I'm going to read a quote here from the NAR chief economist, Lawrence Yun. He said, home sales increased in October, even with the government shutdown due to home buyers taking advantage of lower mortgage rates.
Wow. And
rents are decelerating, which will reduce inflation and encourage the Fed to continue cutting rates and pulling back their quantitative tightening. Yoon added this will help bring more home buyers into the market since the Fed rate has an indirect impact on mortgage rates.
I love
Which we've been talking about this because, hey, we're already seeing that in the numbers. So, guys, if you want to buy, let's get started on the process.
Yeah. We're already starting to see more activity, and I think Mike would probably back this up. Cindy and I talk about it in almost every show, is that as the rates come down, more people are going to get into the market, and if you have more people, you have more competition, which could lead to
higher prices.
He nailed it. Look at
100%.
100%. And we don't even prepare for this, guys. Mike just said that out of nowhere.
So it's basic supply and demand.
It really is.
Yeah.
Right. So what are we advising the clients to do right now? Is get in, right?
Take advantage of the opportunity right now to negotiate.
Yes.
There's less, the inventory's out there. There's less demand. Take advantage of it now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So what did it tell us?
Well, so nationally, and this is, I think, all housing types, so that includes townhomes and condos, but year over year increase in 1.7%, and this is closed volume.
Okay.
But I mean, still, that's good. We increased activity a little bit, and the year over year median home price increased by 2.1%.
Oh my God. See, this is, you said 2.1?
2.1. So I mean, this is nationally. This is taking all the states.
Right. And yet I'm listening to national news and national radio, and it burns me because they had, like, on Fox the other day, they had this on the Fox Business thing, they had a national realtor. I'm like, what's a national realtor? First of all, I've never heard of that. Right. Real estate is localized. Okay. I'm not hiring a national realtor. But he's like, yeah, overall, things are down, but then you have these pockets, these small areas that have gone up. Why do they not have the same stats that you do? Are you the best statistician in the entire country?
No, because I pull my numbers where I think everybody would be pulling their numbers from.
From NAR, right?
So, right. So I have no idea.
Right. And by the way, that's National Association of Realtors.
I think they just come up whatever little blip they see that's negative where they want to put out, some clickbait.
Thank you.
Because
Clickbait.
otherwise I don't understand.
No, and I don't even understand where they're pulling the stats on. So when we get back from the break here, we're going to talk a little bit more about statistics. We're going to get Mike's opinion, and then we're going to find out who is Mike Dickey from Mahar & Associates. Stay tuned to the Business Happy Hour. We'll be back in just a minute. See how fast it goes?
I love it.
Oh, it goes so fast.
I love it. So cool.
Dude, this blows my mind, though. I just don't understand where these people pull the stats from. I'm going to start calling into the shows. Like, did you talk to Ray about it, by the way?
No.
Mention it to him. Maybe that's a good Thanksgiving conversation.
I will. Well, I mean, like I said, we're all, we're hyper local. So I think if you talk to agents, and I mean, in general terms, when we say, oh, it's a buyer's market, yeah, it feels like a buyer's market because, they have the leverage, they're negotiating, things like that. But if you look at inventory levels,
right.
If the buyers come out of the woodwork, it is not going to be a buyer's market.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And well, I'll ask you when we get back on the break, Mike. I'm going to ask you a question to say, when she says something to that effect, I'll be like, how fast can that happen, Mike? Right? And then you can answer honestly. How fast do you think that's going to happen?
Exactly.
Like
and
overnight.
Right.
I mean, it's. But you say what you want. By the way, you don't have to agree with us.
Right. No, you're 100% right. And kind of what back on that. And
oh, he said we're ready to fire. We'll save it for the show.
Welcome to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group right here in Tampa Bay for 23 years. Joined by his incredible co-host, Senia Akishina, realtor with Mahar & Associates, Tampa's top real estate company. Together, they have helped finance and close nearly $1 billion of real estate every year. If you're looking for local mortgage or real estate advice, the Business Happy Hour team has been right here on News Radio WFLA for over a decade. Listen right here or find us on the Business Happy Hour YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Frank the Bank Cotto. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious mortgage, real estate, and business talk with two of Tampa's top experts. Here's Frank the Bank and Senia.
All right, back in studio with Senia Akishina from Mahar & Associates. This is Frank the Bank, your host, and we have Mike Dickey from Mahar & Associates as well. Been in the business for like 25 years in one part of real estate or another, Mr. Mike has. Also, he is an Air Force veteran. We're going to learn a little bit more about him later in this segment. I want to finish talking about statistics, though, because Senia blows my mind every time I listen to national news, national radio, and then I sit in my own show, and Senia tells me the truth about the statistics, because we don't provide clickbait here. We provide actual stats. And speaking of actual stats, prior to the break, you were telling us that closed loan volume across the entire nation was up 1.7% month over month.
Year over year.
Oh, year over year. Oh, God, that's even better. And then that's right, year over year. That's right, October, right? And then prices were up 2.1%. We were talking about hyper local, right? And
well, hold on. So on
please.
that 2.1%, so the median sale price, so this is across the U.S., $415,000. But I highlighted this other little quote: the 28th consecutive month of year over year price increases.
What? 28 consecutive months.
Yes, I mean, it sounds pretty positive to me.
Man, so what? Okay, so we've been talking about buyer and seller market, and you always talk about inventory. And I have a question I'm going to ask Mike about this, but we always talking about our supply. How is our supply right now? She's like, I have that right here.
So I've also got, our local numbers for Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco counties. And okay, here's a little disclaimer, because on one of the other shows, I said, hey, when October numbers come out, we do have to take that certain thing into perspective, which I'll ask you guys about this. So yeah, in Hillsborough County, closed sales were up by 5.5%. In Pasco, almost 12%. Guess about Pinellas.
Well, I'm going to have to say down, right? Down 2%?
No, up 36.3%.
Oh, wow.
But again, October, especially in Pinellas County,
right.
I mean, this was
nobody
a month
was buying,
where not much
right.
was doing. So I don't know how much of these, the increase in closed sales has to do with the lower rate, which I think some.
Right.
But we do have to attribute, a lot of it to.
Because nobody was buying last October, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody was digging themselves out of the sand, basically, last October. So
Pretty much, yep.
Okay.
But yeah, same with new pending sales. These are big numbers. So in Hillsborough County, new pending sales are up by 35%. In Pinellas, up almost 34%. And in Pasco, 15.6%.
You said 36%? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Pending sales. So, all right. So we know we don't have a lot of supply, right? So, Mike.
So speaking of supply, I was looking at those numbers. So, we talked month supply, and it's 3.9 in Hillsborough, which it was at 4 last month.
We're down.
So we're down a little bit, yes. 4.2 in Pinellas stayed the same from last month. And then 3.7 in Pasco, which also went down a little bit. So across like the 4-county area that includes Hernando, it's at 4.
So
4 months supply.
Right now we are in a buyer's market because there's not a lot of buyers. But Mike, how fast could the market change if we see a rate drop or we see a bunch of people jump in?
When we see a rate drop and people start jumping in, it will literally change overnight.
So you're not saying this is not an if. This is a win.
It's a win.
I would absolutely agree
Definitely
with Mike.
Well, in that month supply, if we're at 4 now, it's only because those buyers that are sitting on the fence aren't out there right now. As soon as they come out because of that lower rate,
right.
I mean, what's that going to do?
Correct.
Right. So the consensus, even with our new guest on the show today here, is you have a small window, and it could change overnight. Anything else we want to hit on the stats? Because I'm going to
No, because I think we're running out of time here. But the other thing I want to say, we're still, at the tail end of November.
Yeah.
If you're looking to buy, try to close before the end of December. That way you get your immediate homestead. Yep, for next year. And then the Save Our Homes cap, that's also immediate, so you don't have to wait.
That's right.
So
Those
if you
are
close
huge.
before December 31st.
Right. So you got time. You have plenty of time. I mean, if you get in contract with Mike or Senia, we can absolutely get you closed in 2-3 weeks at most. So I'm going to say you've got a week and a half left, maybe 2 weeks.
We can get it done. Yeah. So call us today, and then nice little Christmas present.
That's it.
Good
Mike,
way to start the new year.
What's your phone number? How do they call you?
You can call or text me anytime at 813 area code 789-3102.
That's it. 789-3102 is how you get in touch with Mike Dickey over at Mahar & Associates. And, of course, contact frankthebank.com. Very easy to remember. Contact frankthebank.com. And you can just say, I want to talk to that Air Force guy, Mike. So speaking of Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where did you come from? How'd you get into investing in real estate and all that?
Sure. So I'll try not to bore everybody here, but I'm from a small town in Indiana. Kind of grew up, if you will, somewhat of a kind of a hillbilly elegy type story I won't get into. But the bottom line is, coming out of high school, I didn't really have opportunity to go to college, so I went in the Air Force, plus I wanted to anyway, and it was the greatest 5 years of my life. I loved it. And but I knew that in order to and for myself, propel and really get to where I wanted to be financially, I'd be better on my own, out in the real world as far as corporate, et cetera. But I knew I always wanted to get into real estate. So I got out of the military in the Panhandle, moved down to the Tampa area in '99, and before I bought my first actual real home or primary residence, I used my VA to buy a triplex, my wife and I. But I was very green, very novice, had no idea, had no guidance. So, that has challenges, but I call it the hard knocks world of investing. So over those next 2-3 years, I ended up buying 4 properties, and I did end up buying my own townhome and then eventually built a house. But we lived in one of the units. You hear this all the time, that people say, oh, you could do this. We did. We lived in one of the units while our new home was being built. worked at the property, and then basically in 3 years later, no genius of my own, but happened to be 2005 rolls around, and I end up selling them all. Made some nice profits.
Oh man,
this
that was
guy.
some good foresight.
Yeah.
I had one property we'd bought. It was on 2 lots. I ended up tearing down the house, built 2 new homes, and the second one sold on Cinco de Mayo of 2005. It literally took up until about 3 years ago for that property to come back to what the value was. I sold it then.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Where was that?
It's right off of Hillsborough Avenue. Oh, it's called Forest Hills.
Oh yeah,
area.
I'm very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so after that, it got out of the real estate for a bit. Let that kind of go, but always was very interested. But this whole time, I worked corporate for Verizon. I worked full time. I also went to school in the evenings, and I used my GI Bill. So the company paid tuition reimbursement, but I used a GI Bill to offset some of the costs with loans and all this.
Yeah.
Costs of remodeling. So
Genius.
yeah. So then I got back into buying for remodeling in the 2012 timeframe.
Yeah.
Remodeling, selling. When I couldn't actually get agents to contact me back about properties that I were interested in, I went and got my own license so I could control it myself. And then not knowing that, years later, 2017, ended up being kind of a downsizing with the company, I was able to just go full-time with real estate. And I've been doing that since. I've been also adding on clients like investor buyers, where I know what to look for. I know exactly what the costs are generally, whether you're having to do it on your own. If you can, because some people are handy, some are not.
Right.
You got to hire it out. I've got all the contacts for everything you need, literally everything. So I kind of know, and I can look at a property and analyze it quickly and know, is there enough margin here to make it worthwhile?
Yeah.
You can help them avoid little mistakes. We were talking before the show with that first triplex you bought. Tell us that little tidbit.
Oh yeah. So at the time I didn't know it, but I ended up buying that from a wholesaler. I would have no idea what that was, that then. So of course they don't tell you anything.
Right.
And I was so green, I didn't know what to ask. So I go to set up water, and they can't find the property. And I'm like, what? And they say to me, well, you sure it's not on a well? I said, huh?
You're like, a what?
Yeah. So it turns out that there was no water access. Sure enough, it was a well, and the well was located on the other piece of property that they had split. So my investment, the initial cost, next thing I knew, I ended up having to reach out to a local well company. And when you supply water to more than one unit, more than 2, it has to be what's called a limited supply well. And you have to do water samples. So it's an extra cost. But the bottom line is I've got it in. My dad was an electrician. He helped do the electrical. We all got out there and worked. We dug all the lines. And
Oh my God.
so we worked every single weekend, my wife and I, on that property. And it was.
And
You got it done. But bottom line for our listeners, call Mike.
Yeah.
If you're looking to invest, especially if you've never done it, this is the guy to help you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's always the people who are the best are the ones who have made the mistakes themselves, and they learn it. And some of us have to learn by making mistakes. Some listen to others. I would love to be the one who doesn't learn from his mistakes and listens to others. Right. By the way, his number again is 813-789-3102. That's 789-3102. Mike's not scared to give out his cell phone number. We're going to talk about that in just a minute on the show, because I do the same thing, and I meet people all the time who are scared to do it. And I'm like, well, how are you in business? Are you self-employed? How are we going to call you? You're like, oh, well, I've got a different number. It's like, what does that mean? You don't answer your phone all the time? Right? So with that, after we get back from the break, we'll talk to Mike about the importance of answering your phone in all businesses and why we give out our cell phone numbers. And then I want to go back to talking about the VA loan and the triplex purchase. I can't believe that was your first purchase, and a lot of veterans don't know that you can buy multifamily. And then the fact that I think you passed over it very quickly, that you bought like 2 or 3 more homes within those first few years right out of the military. So it can be done, guys. All right. And this is the guy who has done it, not somebody who's going to tell you how to do it, somebody who has done it. Mike Dickey from Mahar & Associates and Senia Akishina will be back in just a minute with yours truly, Frank the Bank, on the Business Happy Hour. Stay tuned. Keeping us almost on time, James. I'm close. Close. Actually, you know what? I'll get my show title going here. Do this right now. going to send it.
Mike,
what's
great.
your...
You're doing great.
Oh,
No,
thank
you're
you.
doing phenomenal.
Thank you. Appreciate
What's your
that.
email address, Mike?
It's MSD.
Oh, I have it, right.
Yeah.
MSD, and then the phone number.
789-3102 at Gmail.
789-3102 at gmail.com. Okay, I'm going to copy you on with Claire and James with our, this is going to be our, where we're going to send you the clips from the show and things you can put on social media, and it gives James the title of the show.
Oh, okay, cool.
Radio show title and description, 1124. Show title. Show description. Mike Dickey, Air Force veteran and Tampa Bay Realtor, joins the show to talk creative VA options. Mike Dick.
See, realtor and investor.
Yes. Dickie Realtor and investor, as well as Air Force veteran, joins the show to tell his story of how you can get into multifamily investment right out of the military and be there at the right time to start your career. Don't make the mistakes he did. Listen to the show.
There you go. It's true. If I had known Frank, for instance, at that time, or anybody, seriously, because I didn't, and it was even that I kind of got taken advantage of a little bit. Remember that was Countrywide back then, and all that, right? And
full spectrum lending, and Countrywide.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's fire us. Final segment.
Let's get back to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group, and his co-host, Senia Akishina, realtor with Mahara and Associates.
All right, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. This is our final segment of the show here with Mike Dickey, Air Force veteran and real estate agent, investor extraordinaire, was telling us in the last segment how he bought his first house. Now, Mike, this was basically right out of the military. You bought it?
So within a couple years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you came out. Were you working? Did you have a job when you came out?
Okay. I did. I was working full time for GT at the time.
You're already with GT at that time. Mm-hmm. And what made you think that I'm going to go buy a triplex for my first house? I mean, that's Senia. Do you ever hear that happen?
No, I was surprised. I'm like, so your first house you bought was not one for you to live in. It was actually an investment property.
Well, you lived in,
cool.
I assume, one of the units, right?
Correct. So a lot of people will hear and they say, "Oh, I've heard this ideal of maybe buying a triplex. I could live on one side and grow my wealth that way." And I had read and I heard about these different things. And in this particular case, being a triplex, yes, no, it wasn't glorious by any means. It wasn't nice, but we had a place while our home was being built. And then I started, I already had the other side rented. The back unit still needed work, so we were fixing it up while we were living there. Then it was an easy transition. Once the home was built, we moved over. And then from there, we kind of continued on buying more properties.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, to think veterans don't realize that you guys have the best loan at your fingertips. I can't get it. Senia can't get it.
I wish I could.
I do too. I mean, you could, and let me ask you this. We all know the answer, but what did you put down on that triplex purchase?
Zero.
Zero down. And I bet in this market, you could probably gotten somebody to cover your closing costs too.
Correct. In this market, you definitely could.
Right.
Yeah.
So as a veteran, you're telling the veterans, you are a veteran, and you're telling the veterans that they can get 100% financing on a triplex. You could negotiate the seller to cover closing costs.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So why would somebody not do it?
Scared.
They're scared.
The lack of knowledge and even myself. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any connections in. If I had known Frank Cotto then, that would have made my life so much easier when it came to the financing. And the repairs and everything needs to be done. So that's the key of working with people who are good, that know the business, and will guide you the right way. And my other thing is just, scared, whether it be, buying traditionally or as an investment. If you don't do something, nothing will happen. Once you do get into something, it's amazing the way that life works and things just evolve.
I'm going to use that as a quote of the week. We actually do a meeting for our company every Wednesday, and I'm going to use Mike, and I'm going to quote Mike, if you'll let me. If you don't do something, nothing will happen. Yep. What great advice that is. And being scared, Mike made a good point. It's about navigating with the right people. So if you are a veteran and you're sitting here and or let's even say you're not a veteran. I'll bring this up, by the way, because half of our listeners are not. So if you're not a veteran, you can do the same exact thing that Mike's talking about on an FHA product that Lincoln Lending Group offers. It's a 100% FHA loan. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer, just like you don't to buy a triplex as a veteran either. And you can get 100% financing on a duplex as a non-veteran. Veterans can get it on a fourplex or a 3 or a 2 or a 1. But the idea is you can become an investor and a homeowner at the exact same time. And I'm going to go back to Mike's advice. If you don't do something, nothing will happen. Well, I'm also going to throw on this. If you are scared about having a mortgage, but you're renting right now, you already have a mortgage. But whose are you paying? Somebody else's.
Somebody else's.
Somebody else, and you're gaining nothing.
Right.
Where with owning, you're gaining equity over time.
Right. Now talk to everybody real quick. We got a few minutes left. What happened? You bought you kind of did it quick. You're like, "Oh, we bought it, here and then we sold it." You made some money, didn't you?
Yes. So, I will say my wife in the early years, she didn't love the whole responsibility of being a landlord. And like I said, it wasn't all,
roses.
All roses. And no, it wasn't. And these weren't the nicest properties by any means.
Right.
But in the end, so what happened was those 4 years, and I had one of them where I had built, I demolished the home. It was 2 lots. We built 2 brand new houses, and we sold those in 2005. I used that money to then do other things. And then in the 2012-ish timeframe, I got into starting to renovate homes. And been doing that since. I've been helping buyers, investors do the same. I love helping people increase their net worth. It's one of the greatest feelings. That, and you find one of the ugliest houses in the neighborhood. You make it the most beautiful.
That's it.
And the people buying it, they cannot wait to close. Yet at the same time, you get to make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, your neighbors will love you too.
And the neighbors love it.
They love it. When you go in, the key is never buy the nicest house in the neighborhood. You buy the least nice house, right? You can't. There is something called over improving, right? You don't want to over improve for the neighborhood either. But I keep going back to Mike. Mike put his foot in the pool, and then he jumped in. But if he hadn't jumped in, he wouldn't have the knowledge that he has now, wouldn't figure it out. And Cindy and I implore you, don't make the mistakes that Mike and I did. Okay, I made some bad real estate mistakes. Today's the show for Mike. I'll talk about my mistakes all day long. But we made the mistakes so you don't have to. So call the right person. Mike, how do they get in touch with you again?
Please call or text me anytime at 813 area code 789-3102. Or you can email at msd789-3102@gmail.com.
That's it. And if you happen to forget those, you're welcome to check this out on all of the podcast channels. You can rewind it, or you can ask Senia or myself. Senia, what's that number you always give out?
You can reach me at 813-755-REAL.
That's it, 755-REAL. So just remember that, or contact frankthebank.com and get in touch with us, and you can talk to Mike. Remember, you don't have to be a veteran. Yes, if you are, you deserve it, and you get better financing than Senia and I. But we can still get you 100% financing on that FHA loan for a duplex. Mike, what else do you want to leave the listeners with today? We got about a minute left.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you again for having me on, when it comes to buying real estate, it's a common quote, but don't wait to buy real estate. Buy and wait.
Oh, man.
Buy and
wait. Got 2 quotes of the day this guy just came up with. Buy and wait. Mike, you have been an absolute pleasure to have on the show. Thank you so much for your service. I know we didn't get a chance to go into it, but we just had Veterans Day recently, and I love the real life story. And I will say, I think you might be the first person in my 26-year career that bought multifamily first. I really think you are. So you did it. You made it through it. I think you're an inspiration for others who can do it, veterans or not. So
thank you.
You are welcome. Reach out to Mike. Cynia, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. You guys too. And Mike, thank you so much. I've loved Mike for years, that you've been at Mahara and Associates. We only see each other at the Christmas party, but so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
It's been wonderful. Mike, have a great Thanksgiving. We will see all you guys next week after the holiday. Have a good one. It'll be December when we come back. Frank the Bank is out. He's been waiting all show to do that. That is so funny.
That is correct.
I was looking at your thing, but we were running out of time for your.
This is so fantastic.
We're still on.